Place me in your eyes, then seal them shut. Allow me to rest within their depth. Please be cautious, and with care do blink, for the captive within might easily fall. When sorrowful, I beg you, hold back your tears, for in their pain I may drown and perish. I have been blind to all in the past, a wasted past where you were not present. One look from you is like a sharpened blade, filled with beauty and infinite enchantment. Within my soul you abide and reside. Your thirst is quenched by your captive's tears. On luscious fields you are not dependent. My heart, to protect you, will always be near. Do not listen to those who object, for they envy us and are ready to blame. For you I have kept true to my promises of constant, faithful, and lasting affection. The entire world throbs with life, yet without you it is barren and unfilled. His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai, from his book Poems from the Desert. And Compton, alongside her newest book, and it should be remembered that Anne won the Governor General's Award a few years back and continues along in high form. Anatomy. All day I carry you inside me, your age and end, the stooped fact of your dying. Near the vena cava, a spine curved in sleep, not years. You are where you should be, should have been through the dividing decades. Those civil corridors leading away from our alcove days. Our avowals that two right atria, so aligned, concur in rhythm. I know the weight of a child, its stirring towards birth. This is not that. This is the weight of the least words. Seeing things. According to the physicists, the photoreceptors of the eye have reached optimization. Practically perfect. They can't evolve further. For what, you have to wonder, sight so keen? With those good eyes, a woman's bound to notice beauty when it enters a room. Like I did that once, and once is enough. Photons of light blooming around you. Bones so elegant they testify to the first or final forms of things. a voice summoning me to the surface, to attention, to see, you said, how we are, like a child, surrounded and adored by what we behold. Reciprocal fit. I could say you were sent, opener of eyes. Unforeseeable, you're going through with no diminution of light. A harmed child, I was gutted and intensified. An intention I can't let go. Needing to name the beautiful in the least sprig. Lovely, I think you'll agree. Thank you, Anne. And excuse me while I get my tea. Left it in the microwave. Yes, it is morning. And tea is appropriate for the morning, I think. We've had plenty of ale and wine on other poetry shows, this being number 30, I think. Alice Burdick. We've enjoyed Alice a couple of times in Poetry Show before, and I discovered her work in a few years old anthology called Shift and Switch. New Canadian Poetry, 2005, I believe. Several editors, Derek Beaulieu, Jason Christie, Angela Rawlings. The meat leaves slowly. It's too fast, this heat that drops onto her speckled shoulders. My stomach is revolting. It has no pockets for enclosure. So, left out. One porcupine, one skunk, two raccoons. We try to cross to pass this foreign tar pressed deep in slender paths. It's one result. The end of delicate remoteness, carved into color, a new meat for flies. Have you seen the water boil? It does so in its own waves. Daughters of fishermen fear the open seas, so mow the hills to roads. Where are our tiger teeth? Is it the grand source of our error, our slavery, our food? Severe mental exercise usually leads to a limited life. Food and thought, if bad, bode a mean existence. What? No volatile air to breathe? No great wash of tepid water to cure our errant humours? It's about time we grace the walls with spittle and talk into the can. Who will answer our stunted calls, thinned by hospitable blood? It's like we can't swell or swill our bill of mortality. All the air is sick like a cracked duck in the oily muck on the beach again, up north, down south. The best part is this is our great chance to relate light to the organization. We'll dissuade the herbivores next, before they get on to us. I hadn't ever thought of dissuading herbivores before, but now I will. From the same anthology, Sharon Harris, who I met once a long time ago at the poetry, where did I meet her? Small press fair, that's right. Excerpt from Fun with Pataphysics. Number 162, an uncuttable poem. Place a folded poem around a knife blade. You can cut a reader with it without damaging the poem. The poem is forced into the reader with the knife. It is not cut itself because the pressure of the blade on the poem is countered by the resistance from the reader. Since the reader's flesh is softer than the poem fiber, it yields. If, however, you hold the poem too firmly, the pressure balance is lost and the poem is broken. 99. Where do poems come from? Moisten your finger and hold it straight up in the air. You will notice at once that one side of the finger is cold. This is the direction from which the poem is coming. "41. If I place a poem and its translation across from each other and I stand between them, can I see my reflection stretching away into infinity?" In theory, you could get an infinite number of reflections in the poems, but only if the poem was perfectly translated and you stood there forever. Number 292. How to scare poets. A poet's eye is attracted instinctively by shining objects. A poet looks for any round, light-colored things, such as the eggs of a songbird, which she steals out of the nest. Take one of the bright balls used for Christmas decorations, close it at the top with a waterproof adhesive, and fasten it to a post or a tree in the garden where it may be seen from all sides. The reflection of the sun on the ball will follow the suspicious poet into every corner of the garden and irritate her so much that she will fly away. Fly away, poets, fly away. From the same anthology, Hugh Thomas, who I've also met a couple of times. Girls who eat flowers and fail their IQ tests. Sounds serious, doesn't it? We got used to the old questions, so they changed them. The new IQ test is finding the room where the test is held. Riding a bicycle improves your IQ. 10 years and they never change the streets. What kind of maze is this? Boredom is part of the new IQ test, and also deciding if this shirt goes with these slacks. I scored much better on the old questions. First came a big E, then a T, and then an I, and so on, smaller and smaller, all the way to Q and Z, which score 10 each. Now they give me glasses, which give me headaches, and so they give me pills, and the pills have something written on them that's too small to read. My friend Megan eats 5 types of edible flowers. They make me happier but hungrier, she says. I thought it ought to be legal. Some people say marriage should only be between a man and a woman, not between a woman and a flower. But I say, wherever there's love. I say it to the driver of the Spadina streetcar. He tells me there's one more westbound subway, and none going east. Not ever again. Excellent, Hugh. Love that poem. Now, another anthology, Here to Eternity, selected by Andrew Motion and published by Faber and Faber in 2001. Fabulous anthology, really stunningly good. Got poets from many, many countries and almost every era you could think of, including what looks like sort of African folk myths, folk poems that are anonymous. And, you know, Bob Dylan and obscure people from the 16th century. You think, I didn't learn that one in school. And Andrew Motion you might know from, he's pretty famous for his biography of Philip Larkin and the other one of John Keats. I think that's his main claim to fame, but boy is he a good anthologist. Many plaudits to Andrew for this one. Juan Ramon Jimenez. I am not I. Translated from the Spanish by Robert Bly. I am not I. I am this one walking beside me, whom I do not see, whom at times I manage to visit, and at other times I forget. The one who remains silent when I talk, the one who forgives, sweet, when I hate, the one who takes a walk when I am indoors, the one who will remain standing when I die. Fernando Pesoa, translated from the Portuguese by Jonathan Griffin. I see boats moving on the sea, their sails like wings of what I see bring me a vague inner desire to be who I was without knowing what it was. So all recalls my home self, and because it recalls that, what I am aches in me. John Clare, 18th century English poet, went mad and became sane again, and then went mad again, I think. Lovely lyrics. And was he ever really mad, or just a bit like Syd Barrett? Maybe, ate something out of the ground that was a little bit, psychedelic. Sometimes I wonder. I am, yet what I am none cares or knows. My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish in oblivion's host, like shadows in love's frenzied, stifled throes. And yet I am and live like vapors tossed. Into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life or joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. Even the dearest that I love the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man hath never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator, God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, above a vaulted sky. Robert Browning. Now there's a name you haven't seen in a while. Well, I've been dead 100 years or so. I mean, for a poet, that's nothing. That's like yesterday. Love in a life. Love in a life. Room after room, I hunt the house through we inhabit together. Heart, fear nothing, for heart thou shalt find her. Next time, herself, not the trouble behind her, left in the curtain the couch's perfume. As she brushed it, the cornice wreath blossomed anew. Yon looking glass gleamed at the wave of her feather. Yet the day wears, and door succeeds door. I try the fresh fortune, range the wide house from the wing to the centre. Still the same chance. She goes out as I enter. Spend my whole day in the quest. Who cares? But 'tis twilight, you see, with such suites to explore, such closets to search, such alcoves to importune. Importuning alcoves, you don't see people doing that much anymore. That's a long dead habit. I suggest some of you start it up again. Start importuning alcoves, please. Emily Dickinson. We've thrilled to Emily's work before in Poetry Show, and here we go again. My life closed twice before its close. It yet remains to see if immortality unveil a third event for me. So huge, so hopeless to conceive, as these that twice befell. Parting is all we know of heaven, and all we need of hell. Lady Catherine Dyer, and probably not related to that iconoclastic English writer Jeff Dyer, but all the same, it's Dyer. Epitaph on the monument of Sir William Dyer at Colmworth, 1641. Like I said, what's time to poets? I mean, nothing. My dearest dust, could not thy hasty day afford thy drowsy patience leave to stay 1 hour longer, so that we might either sit up or gone to bed together? But since thy finished labour hath possessed thy weary limbs with early rest, enjoy it sweetly, and thy widow bride shall soon repose her by thy slumbering side, whose business now is only to prepare my nightly dress and call to prayer. Mine eyes wax heavy, and the day grows cold. Draw, draw the closed curtains, and make room. My dear, my dearest dust, I come, I come. Oh, that was lovely. Should I read it? I haven't got any more marked out. Maybe I'll just sort of jump in any old place. How about Elizabeth Jennings here? Page 313. A poem called Answers. I kept my answers small and kept them near. Big questions bruised my mind, but still I let small answers be a bulwark to my fear. The huge abstractions I kept from the light. Small things I handled and caressed and loved. I let the stars assume the whole of night. But the big answers clamored to be moved into my life. Their great audacity shouted to be acknowledged and believed. Even when all small answers build up to protection of my spirit, still I hear big answers striving for their overthrow, and all the great conclusions coming near. All the great conclusions, yes. Very metaphysical, that. R.S. Thomas, Welsh poet, not in the least related to Dylan, as far as I know. Kneeling. Kneeling. Moments of great calm. Kneeling before an altar of wood in a stone church in summer, waiting for the God to speak. The air a staircase for silence, the sun's light ringing me as though I acted a great role, and the audiences still. All that close throng of spirits waiting, as I, for the message. Prompt me, God, but not yet. When I speak, though it be you who speak through me, something is lost. The meaning is in the waiting. Walt Whitman, Not one of my favorites, a little undisciplined, I think, but here's one where he exercised himself a bit. Didn't go on for 14 pages to make 3 points. When I heard the learned astronomer. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures, were ranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them. When I sitting heard the astronomer where he lectured with so much applause in the lecture room, how soon unaccountable I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. Well then, friends, small feast of poetry for your ears and usual ugly old coot for your eyes. Let us always enjoy the eternity of poetry, the brilliance of perfect language in a world of troubles and wars and strife. Need I even whisper the words Syria and Ukraine? And God bless all the troubled souls therein, while the rest of us, or some of the rest of us, enjoy peace and goodwill amongst men in what, for me, has been a very cold winter. Oh my goodness, has it been cold here in Canada. But poetry goes on forever, as does beauty and truth and all that, stuff. So, God bless you all, and I bid you farewell until next time, which won't be as long as the last time, if you know what I mean.